Hello everyone. Before I begin here, I ask you to think about which factors do you feel play influential roles for ensuring solid and effective team performance? Don't know yet? Why not start peeling away at the layers at your current workplace? What does the landscape of power look like? Is it asymmetrical, hierarchical, dictated, ambiguous, or even closed? Still not sure? Not to worry. When addressing leadership in teams and decision groups, leadership expert Yuki better acquaints us with this. At this junction, I see this as an opportunity to showcase a Kenyan proverb in which I'm familiar with, which best illuminates a landscape of trust, candor, and synergy. It is saying that sticks in a bundle cannot be broken. It is embracing a team-oriented approach to operating. You see, for several organizations, the aforementioned may require that some reshift their current managerial models of leading and operating to ones which flatten the hierarchies of power and decision-making. The first step here is reflection, one which requires taking an emotional audit of letting go, involving others. You see, Yuki reminds us that this task will require independent roles of emotion and cognition where one begins to see the employee as a stakeholder. In knowing so, he provides us with a template to facilitate this process. The process is comprised of 10 factors. Let us begin with factor 1, shall we? Factor 1 is comprised of commitment to tasks and objectives. According to Yuki, there must be a correlation between feeling committed and ideas where members' value systems articulate a shared vision. Moving on to the second factor, we arrive at clarity. This involves being vigilant with regards to selecting members and explaining their responsibilities. According to Yuki, it is providing timely feedback and coaching for addressing any ambiguity in tasks to be carried out. Moving on to factor 3, we arrive at internal organization and coordination. Yuki attested that the performance of a team depends not only on the motivation and skills of members, but also if activities are successfully monitored and directed, involving members with relevant experience. It is ensuring activities from within the organization are in sync and consistent. Next, we have factor 4. It also involves activities, but outside that are in sync and consistent. Here, Yuki reminds us that activities are to be adjusted accordingly with other subgroups about plans and decisions that affect them. We now arrive at factor 5, resources and political support. Yuki believes that without the right amount of resources and political support, work cannot be done. Here, leaders are gently reminded to plan ahead for resources required, to lobby with supervisors, and to establish rapport with external sources. With factor 6, there's no denying that without cooperation and trust, the idea of teams cannot be conceived. With factor 6, there's no denying that without cooperation and trust, the idea of teams cannot be conceived. To do so requires that members identify themselves amongst other members and value membership. According to Yuki, it is building collective identification, articulating a shared vision. As we move on to the last 4 determinants on Yuki's list, we are gently reminded again that they are just as paramount for understanding the influential role of leadership to team performance. With factor 7, it involves fostering the idea of being capable through collective efficacy and potency. With factor 8, it is of sharing and embracing a common understanding about cause and effect relationships. With factor 9, it is of encouraging collective learning, seeing the whole rather than the sum of the parts. And lastly, but of similar importance, it is of embracing member diversity, welcoming critical frameworks of others for broadening one's own understanding. Indeed, sticks in a bundle cannot be broken. Adhering existing leadership principles and practices to those previously echoed by Yuki ensures that leading teams and decision groups is not only procedural, but possible as well. Thanks for watching.